I'm Beth.
And I'm also Alex's mom. I have gone through all these names. I remember when I was first called Mama. Of course, that's something to be celebrated. And then I was Mommy for a long time. And then it became Mom, and it was usually pronounced Mom. And then I became Bruh. And all the variations. Broski. Potato chip. Brosquito. Nothing prepares you for that. Oh my goodness, adolescent boys. But to start at the beginning, I had 3 wonderful girls. I was a happy homeschooling mom. And I was 41 years old and I found out I was pregnant. 41, pregnant. Wow, that was a surprise. But 3 days after my 42nd birthday, I gave birth to Alexander James Pare, who immediately became the crown prince with 3 older sisters. He was a character from the beginning. One of my best friends got married when he was about 18 months old, and a lot of the wedding party were in and out of our house, and Alex would go up to the men and go, "Hole you, hole you." And he wanted them to pick him up. And then when he was draped over the shoulder, he'd just get this like 1,000-yard stare. He just loved being picked up, and it was always men for some reason. I don't know what was going on. But he loved to sing and he loved to dance around, and one day in the back of the van on our way up 31 to the Suzuki Music School, where all my kids took music lessons, I heard, "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy, you make me mad." Directed at one of the sisters, I am sure. When he was about 3, as he started saying more words, he had an adorable thing when he would get the syllables mixed up, and he would call motorcycles Hodermichaels. Our favorite soup in the house, taco soup, was taco hoop, or broccoli hoop, or whatever. And it was, my friend Susie, my dear friend, who had gotten married a couple of years before, was Hoopy. So we would go to see Hoopy and Dave. As he got a little bit older, reaching like age 4 or so, he loved musicals. Oh, he loved musicals so much. And we loved doing all the vintage ones, My Fair Lady, and he wanted to watch that one on repeat. And, it's just quite the experience to hear a 4-year-old go, "Oh, wouldn't it be lovely?" And he would just crack us up. And then he wanted to watch the Music Man, but don't tell, it was the Matthew Broderick version. I know that's sacrilege for a lot of people. So he wanted to watch that one on repeat. And then one of my daughters was the Fiddler on the Roof in our local theater production. Remember those S's that he couldn't say? Tredepaw, Tredepaw. Oh, he was something else. We would see from time to time a few signs of anxiety. He didn't separate easily from me. He went on to school, and he's incredibly smart. He did really well in math. He loved it. But again, that needing to get that A was always there, and I would say, "Alex, you are loved no matter what." We went through a very painful separation and divorce over the next several years. Just very devastating for the entire family. And I saw him become more somber, and some discipline problems at school followed. An eating disorder followed. I learned that eating disorders arise not only out of a desire to be thin, but often as a desire for control. One day, when he was in 7th grade, we were sitting at the table and we were talking about the latest discipline problem, which had been that he had told another classmate that he wished he would die. And I said, Alex, you cannot say that to people. You know, what are you thinking? And he said, well, I've been wanting to die for a while. And I didn't know what to say. Of course, the counseling followed, and I kept watching him for any sign that he wanted to follow through on something, and he seemed to be doing well. The wonderful sense of humor continued. When he was, 13 maybe, I got a homemade card from him for my birthday it said on the front, "Happy birthday, Jedi Beth," and it had little stick figures. "Alex, I am your mother." And on the inside, it was all Yoda speak. "Proud to be your son, I am. Love you, I do." It was absolutely adorable. Like, can you tell we're geeks in our family? He knew that my favorite poem was The Children's Hour by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. And for an 8th grade project, he copied it all out on, spiral notebook paper, with this, all in pencil, with little stick figures of Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's daughters running up the stairs to surprise him. And I have that laminated, of course. He also discovered The Office. Do we have any Office watchers in here? All right. His absolute favorite episode was the one where Gabriel says, shut up about the sun! Shut up about the sun! He would watch it on repeat. He said, can we please watch that one again? Can we please? Sure. Oh my. Also during this time, I believed that he was doing better with his anxiety. And then one night he came down, it was probably 1:30 in the morning, and he said, Mom, I can't sleep. I said, really, what's going on? And he said, I just know Mr. Browder's gonna call on me tomorrow in class. I just know it. And he said, well, yeah, it probably is. And he said, but what if I give the wrong answer? And I said, Alex, it's okay. It's okay. Wrong answers happen. And I don't know, it was very hard to convince him of that. He loved the Avengers. We always were out there waiting in line for the Avengers movie, and he just loved it. And Captain America, got to go be with Agent Carter, got to go back in time, be with Agent Carter. He just loved that. He played that. It's been a long, long time, and he played that on his playlist, and he just thought that was wonderful. So about summer of 2020, Alex was 15, and things seemed to be going really well for him. He had a really cute girlfriend for the first time. He had a pet sitting business, and he would go all over town on his bike and take pets for walks and something. And he was really making bank. It was a great summer for him. In our family, we had a household with rules, and we had a household with no rules. And my household was the household with the rules. And that wasn't very popular. I saw him less and less that summer because I had rules. And one of the ways I could get him to come over to the house was by asking him to pet sit. And so I did that frequently. And so we can go over and pet sit, and I thought I would always hope for a conversation when I got home, because he always took really good care of the animals. One weekend, I asked him to pet sit, and he agreed, of course, and we agreed on what I would pay him, and I went away for the weekend. And we texted for the weekend. This was in August. And we texted back and forth several times, and I got a text from him Sunday morning, about 10:30, and he just sent me a picture of the cat on his lap. And I texted back, something about, is she massaging you? And that was, and I didn't hear from him again. And I pulled up outside the house, and I noticed that he had left a partially dismantled bike right in front of the front door, and I was like, thoughtless. And then as I got up to the front door, I thought I could hear, music playing pretty loudly, and oh, what is going on? And I opened the door, and I found Alex. The coroner thought it had probably been right after he texted me. And the next few days were just kind of a blur. People don't know what to do when something like this happens. And I'm so thankful for my fiance, Jim, right over there. Gonna be my husband next week. He kind of just ushered me away and said, "You're not staying there. You're not gonna stay there." And been his house ever since. And my friend Susie came over with rum and Coke, poured me about 3/4 rum and 1/4 Coke, and this was during COVID, so she didn't want to come in the house, but we sat out on a picnic blanket, and she just rubbed my back while I drank rum and Coke. Another friend came over and just sat with me, and we just talked about just random stuff. I'm so thankful for that, for people who just kind of show up and whatever weird stuff you end up talking about. It's all good. I'm just so thankful for the people that showed up with food. We had so much food. We had to put some in the freezer, but bringing food seems to fill a need for people. And of course it fills a need for you too. We get to talk, and I'm so thankful for that. It was a blur, the funeral. I remember that I went back to work right after the funeral, just a few days later, because I just wanted normal so badly when nobody had normal to offer. And it was during COVID, and it was at an elementary school, so it wasn't that difficult to work because I was working from home. And then, I never talked about it. I just couldn't. But one day, 6 months later, the subject came up with one of my 5th grade classes, and something I didn't want to bring up, but there'd been a bullying incident in my class, and I felt like I needed to self-disclose a little bit. And one of the girls raised her hands and said, she raised her hand and said, "Why are you here?" And that was such a good question. It's a good question anytime, any place, is why am I doing this? And so I took leave, did bereavement counseling, which was one of the smartest things I ever did. Did art therapy here at our wonderful Center for Hospice Care. I could go on with so many things about Alex. He was such a ball of anxiety, and I really believe that he was meant to be here for 15 years. I wish he were still here. I wish he was living his senior year, getting ready to go to college, make college choices, and just doing all the things you do in your senior year of high school. And he's not. But somehow, he fulfilled a mission here. I can't understand that, but his life was complete. Through the bereavement therapy, I came to see that he helped me redefine success. He helped me redefine fulfillment. I'm so thankful that he was here, and somehow I know that he is in the right place at the right time. I'm not the only one who has been sent little love taps from Alex, and people have let me know. He's letting everybody know that he is just fine. I had to forgive him. I also had to forgive my friends who didn't know what to do or say and ducked into the next Walmart aisle when they saw me. I had to forgive people who didn't know what to say because I didn't know what to say myself. I know now that I need to give people grace because people are where they are and we can't make them into something else. And most of all, I've had to come to terms, I am thankful that Alex is singing and dancing, and he can sing tradition and say the S sound. And I know that he is free from all his anxieties and just hitting all his three-pointers. And I am so thankful that he gave me the opportunity to love him and to let him go.